All right, everybody already knows this SMA is dying. We can obviously tell. And so I'm just going to share with you transparently how I personally book over 100 appointments every single week selling AI to local businesses. So you can just copy what I'm doing. To show you the proof first, so you know this works. Here's my calendar between the different agencies I run. There's this week, the week before, and the week before that. So I think you get the point. We book a couple of appointments and show you the proof of a new agency I launched. We'll quickly go show you this, right? So from February 2nd to March 2nd, we made a grand total of $0 because we were trying to sell typical SMMA services. On March 1st, we switched over, and from March 2nd to April 2nd, as you can see, we collected just shy of $14,000. Not too bad, all right? And so in this video, share the proof, payoff. All right, next thing I'm going to talk about is the new AI offer we run. I'm just going to share the offer with you, how to outsource acquisition to get people to do the work for you, and then how to deliver on these results. And just so you know, my name is Stefan. I've been in the agency space for like 4 or 5 years, something like that now. And now I partner up with agency owners and help them scale on a rev share basis, but getting my hands dirty. So if you run an agency, you want to work with me, go to my YouTube channel, click this free 101, book a call with me. We can chat. If you're a good fit, I'll make you an offer. If not, I'll just give you some value. Anyways, back to the video. Let me show you the sauce, all right? So the new AI offer. So I'm going to draw this out for you guys to make this hopefully make a absolute ton of sense so you guys can just copy me and do it yourself. So here's what most people do in the SMMA space, right? Just to make this very clear. So typical SMMA looks like this, right? You find a niche, right? You make some half shitty offer that like there's either one or two routes you're going on. Route number one is you make a crazy guarantee offer that you can never fulfill on, right? Or route number two is you make a terrible offer because you can't really make a good offer with the typical services people offer in SMMA, and you have a very weak offer that you can barely sell, okay? Because people are like, let's be honest, it's so, every niche and every offer is so saturated because everyone has already tried to sell people the Facebook/Google ads, right? So what happens is when everyone's running ads, your CPMs get super high, right? Which means your CPLs go up, right? Which means your cost per acquisition goes up, which means that it becomes not profitable. Okay, this is what's happened, right? The influx, this massive influx of SMMA, right? If we go to like, basically, if this is the chart and this is 2022, this is what happened with SMMA. And so due to this massive influx and people selling this, at the beginning, it was great. It was this amazing new opportunity. Everyone was saying yes. Now everyone has tried it, and your prospects have been A, burned, or B, didn't get results, all right? And so that's what's making it so hard for people to actually get results running typical SMMA offers. And so share with you what we're doing, right? So instead of running these typical offers that, you know, you can barely book any appointments, no one's saying yes, like no one even wants to hop on a call with you because that doesn't sound good, we focus a ton on the pitch. We focus on how can we make this pitch sound so good, people literally think, whoa, what is this? I've never heard this. What's going on? So I'm going to share with you how we actually do that. So for example, one of the offers I was running was literally, like I just showed you, a very typical like, hey, right, we'll run your ads, right, is basically what we're saying. And obviously, literally nobody wants their ads run. And so what we started doing instead is we decided to implement AI in our offer, and we started pitching people an offer like this, okay? We basically said to them, hey, we'll come into your business and we will use our new AI models to find your ideal avatar that you want to service. We'll then extract their interests and identify their behaviors using the AI bots that we've trained. We'll take the information and paste it into one of our coding programs that we have. We'll then generate a code for the specific people that you want to target. And this is like, you can literally do this stuff. I'm not going to tell you how, but I'll show it later. Okay, so stay tuned, right? It's going to generate a code that we're going to give to Facebook to target only the highest income earners in your area that meet all the criteria of your ideal avatar, and then we will only target to them. Now, what happens when you do this? I'll share with you, right? So when you get very, very clear, right, about your ICP, right, what happens now is you can make very, very targeted ads. Okay, very, very, very targeted ads, right, in a very niche market, which what does that mean? You have way less competition. Now, when you have less competition, CPMs go down, all right? CPLs go down. Why do they go down? For two reasons. One, because CPMs go down, so by nature CPLs go down, but also because there's no competition. People haven't seen these offers, and people are interested. They're clicking, right? When CPLs go down, you get a lot more. Your CPAs go down, and guess what? Your prices, right? Your prices can go up. Why can your prices go up? Because now you're in a market of one, right? The whole idea with doing this in the first place, going from SMMA to selling some sort of AI model, is to put yourself in a bucket of one. If you are the only person selling it, they can't say it's good or bad. They can't say it's cheap or expensive. They can't compare because there's nothing to compare to. People can only say, I'm uninterested, I don't like what you have, it's too expensive, it's whatever, when they compare, right? When you run a typical SMA where you are one of a million, right? Then people give you all these objections because you're just the same. But when you're one of one, when you put yourself in a bucket of one, now all of a sudden people are like, whoa, wait a minute. And so not only do we do this ourselves, but we also do it for our clients. We put them in a bucket of one so they seem entirely different. And when you seem different, right, you can literally charge whatever you want because people can't say, oh, well, this guy's doing it for cheaper. It's like, no, there's no one else doing what we do. And so you can charge whatever you want. Margins go up, profit goes up, everything goes up. All right, including your bank account. All right. So to make this a bit more clear, as I've just written here, right? So how we frame this offer, instead of just saying, hey, we'll run ads, we've made it clear that we're going to use some AI models to find the people they want. Now, here's the catch. We're not only just going to get them these leads, right? What most people do is say, hey, we'll run you ads, right? And we'll get you some leads. What we're basically saying is, hey, we're going to do market research. We're then going to do product research. We're then going to extract the exact avatar you want to find out what makes them buy, right? And so I call this emotional buying triggers is what we explain to our prospects. We're going to find out what the emotional buying triggers are of our prospect. What we're then going to do is we're going to generate a code for these prospects so that Facebook can be like, oh, these are the kind of people you want. This is like kind of like a lookalike audience. These are the people you want. Great. We're going to find more of those people, right? We're then going to give this code to Facebook and then we're going to run the ads, right? And inside of the ads, we're also going to A/B test, right? And we're also going to manage the campaigns, right? Obviously. Okay. Then once we actually get the people to click, right, and we get the leads, we're not just going to leave it there, right? Most people do is they just say, hey, here's the lead. What we're going to do is we're going to have our internal sales team, okay, so I say internal sales agent, call them and double price qualify. Now you'd be asking, Stefan, what's double price qualify? I'm glad you asked. The way we explain it to our clients is very simple. Double price qualify means we qualify twice. We qualify the first time on intent. Are they actually looking to buy? Are they just window shopping? And the second time on budget. Do they actually have the budget to afford what it is we're selling? Once they meet those two things, then we will book them, right? Or we will pass them off, right into the counter or right into our prospect. Okay? So look at the difference between this versus this. And on top of this, what we'll also do is we also use, for the people that just become leads and don't pick up, we'll use an AI follow-up bot, right, to follow up with all of these people. So that way we don't miss out on any single lead. And this is literally like a 10-year, right? I mean, you could do whatever. You could do 1 to 10-year nurturing sequence, right, to get all these people because, right, at any given moment, about 3% of the market is ready to buy. So that means 97% of the people are not yet ready. And if you just let them go, right, if you just let them drip through the little leaky bucket, you lose them. But what we do is we shut the bucket off and we'll say, hey, we'll come grab you later. Right? And so we just keep remarketing, so even remarketing, right, retargeting campaigns come in. Alrighty? But look at the difference between this. And so you see how much easier it is to book meetings when you're pitching something like this, right? Because you can literally call people, and this is literally what my seller team does, which is the next thing we'll talk about, right? So that's the new AI offer. Second thing is how to outsource, which I'll show you, okay, which is this. We'll talk about exactly how to outsource, right, to a team. We'll talk about how to build the team and everything. But before we get into that, right, what I just want to make clear is when you're calling now, you can literally say to people, hey, you know how 16-year-old kids normally call you and guarantee they're going to make you $1 million overnight by running you some crappy Facebook ads that you know either don't work or just get you terrible leads that waste your time? Yeah, I do know that. We do something entirely different. Right, over the past couple of years, we've developed this AI model to yada, 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 to boom, 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 to actually get you quality deals. Mind if I explain a bit more? Now they're interested. Why? Because it's one of one. They've never heard about it before. Boom, and away you go. Okay? So that's step one. Okay, that is the offer we run. That is how we're getting people interested. Now, once you've kind of made a good offer, obviously you got to find a way to book appointments. Now, you can do SMS, email, ads. We do some of that, but the primary way we're booking appointments now is just calls. Why? Because we're able to explain our offer a little bit better. Alrighty, and so I'll just share with you very quickly this entire process. On my YouTube channel, I have an entire 4-hour training of how to build a setter team, but I'll quickly run through how we're just outsourcing and building this very simply. Alrighty, so very simply, to find the setters, there's 4 main places: courses, school groups, Facebook groups, and Discords. You're going to go in these groups, and you're basically going to explain a little bit about your agency and what you're doing and how you're going to be compensating these people. Okay, so this is an example of what a hiring post looks like. Once we've kind of, got some people, we get some interviews, the most important thing is we build a really good culture, we set good expectations and compensation with the people that we're onboarding. We hire about 5 to 10 guys, we onboard them all at once, and we build like a brotherhood. All right, so just show you an example of, a message I send to my setters every morning is something like this. Right, for context, like I mentioned at the beginning, I do partner with agency owners. So if you're an agency owner and you want me to build your setter team for you, as a matter of fact, I literally have pre-trained setters that I train every single day. If you want to work with me and have a chat, like I said, once again, go to my YouTube channel. You can book a free call and we can chat about that. Anyways, we digress. Back to the sauce. Okay. So that's the onboarding part, right? And onboarding consists of just giving them access to the dialer and the lead list, and then getting them on daily calls. Simple as that, which I take care of all my clients. So if you want to be a client, woohoo. Rest if not, there you go. Have daily calls, train your team, right? Training. I have a full 4-hour training on my YouTube channel. Just go watch that. That'll just show you exactly how to train them. But you want to find out where is their skill level and then train them accordingly. All right. Stage 4 is managing, right? Managing a team is just leading by example, right? It's just maintaining your team, which comes down to really 3 things. You got to motivate them, right? And so you do that through 2 ways: daily team calls and team communications. And so as you can see here, the daily team calls I have with my setters. And then on those calls, I either teach them new things, we do call reviews, we do role plays, or we answer questions, or like just talk about whatever needs to be talked about. Our communication channels look as follows: setter wins, setter accountability, setter team, resources, role plays. Right, so wins, they post whenever they book a meeting. Accountability, whenever they book, or at the end of the day when they clock out, they put in their EODs so we can just hold them accountable. Resources are just resources they can use, and team is just the team chat. Okay, number 5, right? Phase 5 to building this team to outsource this, to book the appointments we've just talked about, is your script, right? And this is where, once again, this is really going to come into play, because like I just talked about, we can literally use the framing of, hey, you know how people do this, 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 and this that you don't like? Yeah, so we do none of that stuff, right? You could even be like, hey, people like charge like crazy retainers and huge lock-in contracts, and then once you churn, right, once you leave them, they keep the system. Yeah, we do something totally different. We don't lock you in, right? We don't charge a retainer. As a matter of fact, we build the system for you and give it to you for life. So even when you don't use this anymore, you'll still have access to it to book you, to make you money. Ooh, what is that? Sounds interesting. Boom, away you go, right? Book the meeting. And so the way that the script is kind of split is into 4 parts. There's the opener, the pitch, the offer, the objections, and the booking. The biggest part with selling AI, right, and selling this new kind of offer, this new model, is the pitch and the offer. You have to make this sound different than everyone else, because if you don't, what are they going to do? Once again, right here, they're going to put you in the bucket of 1 of a million. Oh, he's just like everyone else. And then instantly, the second they put you in that bucket, the second they mentally put you there, they immediately write you off because they think you're just like everyone else and they don't take you seriously. And so you have to make it very clear from the get-go that you're 1 of 1. You are unlike any other company they've ever heard before, and now they're interested. Now they want to hear more about what you do, right? Objection handling, right? This is just going to be overcoming a bit of fear and pushing a little bit and then booking them in. All right, very simple. Here's a sample script you can copy, or if you want to work with me, I'll make you one for you, and I'll train your setters. Remember, script means nothing. Track your data in order to get better. And then I'll just show you a quick little workflow. I give all my setters to book meetings, and then we'll dive into the last thing, which is how to actually deliver on this, which we kind of touched on. But once again, once you just bring your setters on, give them the dialer, give them the leads, set up an automation, and go at a level. It looks like this. We're just going to add the tags, split the leads to your setters, assign them, and then add them to the manual call. Go to the conversations, call them. If they pick up, ask, see if they're interested. If they're interested, did you book them? If you booked them, woohoo, go to the calendar. If they closed, woohoo. If they didn't close, put in the long-term nurture. If they're interested, but they didn't book, put them in the hot lead sheet. And once again, long-term follow-up. And that's how we're continually booking appointments every single day, right? Even with hot leads, just following up and making use of our prospects. Okay. So that's kind of how this works. Now to touch on the last point here, which is how to deliver the results. Very, very, very simple. Remember how we talked here about, the way that we're kind of going about it is doing this, right? This is exactly what we're doing for our clients, right? Very simple, right? Like I just talked about, is instead of just doing the ads and the leads like everyone else is doing, we're going to do all this work beforehand. Because once again, what makes a good ad is not the media buyer. That does not make a good media. That does not make a good ad, right? You can't out media buy a shitty ad. And so what we do is focus a huge chunk of our time on this, because we want to make sure that the ads we're putting out, right? Like we'll even make our clients offers, right, using AI prompts that we've made, and we'll make good ads even using AI sometimes, to make sure that we are bringing in high quality people. Because what happens when you bring high quality people? You don't have to be good at sales. You don't have to have a crazy sales process. You don't have to have a crazy follow-up process. When you preload all the work here on the front end, like building them a really good offer for them, right? Using AI, using the people they want to target, using those ICP sheets, etc. Now you don't have to rely on the back end as much. We put all the work in on the front end, so we can make really, really good creatives with a really, really, really good offer, with a really, really good call to action. Our landing pages don't have to be fancy. Our calls don't have to be very salesy. People already want to buy our thing because we spend so much time on the marketing side, which is where so many people mess up. They make some shitty ads, they barely get any leads, ad spend's going to waste, and they have to try so hard on the back end to try and get people to close. And so what we do instead, right, to deliver results, is focus all our time on the front end. All right, and then obviously in the back end, using a bit of AI, follow-up bots, and things like that to make sure that we actually, can make the most of the leads we're getting, right? Very similar to this process, right? As you can see, the long-term follow-up, this is literally just using AI and a bit of manual calling your lead sheet to keep people engaged. Same for our prospects, right? Putting people in a hot lead sheet. You can use an AI follow-up bot if you have one that's trained well, or you can just use your setter team to call them. Either or works totally fine. Okay. And so this is like a high level overview, right? There's three very big parts to this, right? There's step number one, you have to make a good offer. Step number two, you have to set these appointments. Step number three, you have to deliver, right? And the reason why you see I haven't put sales here, closing, is because when you make an offer that's no one made before and they get on the appointment, instead of having to ask them 700 Jeremy Minor terrible NEPQ questions, people already want to buy. Right? They literally want to buy from you because you're one of one. You're new. You're something where they can go, ooh, what's this? This is interesting. Show me more. And once again, right, as long as you have a really, really, really good pitch, right, and you have a good demonstration, a good explanation, right, and you make them believe that this is really going to work, and this is like you make them think, wow, I've never tried this before. This is what I've been missing out on. You don't have to be good at sales. People will naturally just want to buy your thing, which means you can make your business so much simpler, so much leaner. And what does that do? Well, now you increase profit. Very simple, right? You increase profit. And the thing is, you book so many more appointments because everyone is like, whoa, wait, this is unique. This is cool. And this is what I'm doing for all of my partners that I work with. Right, and so once again, if you're an agency owner and you want to partner with me, I'm only taking on one more person for the month of May. So book a slot in, right? If you're a good fit, maybe we can work something out. If not, I'll still give you a bunch of value. So not crazy. Once again, just focus on the offer, not the sales. Okay, same as what I do. I don't focus on the sales. I don't need to. I just focus on the offer and my back end, right? And as long as your offer is good and you have very good deliverables, right? Your back end is dialed. You don't have to go so crazy here. You don't have to try and hard sell people. You don't need to hire a bunch of closers in a crazy funnel, right? Look at my funnel. It's just a Calendly. Very, 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 very simple, right? Very, very simple. You don't have to do all this crazy stuff, right? Because the offer sells itself, right? Because you can deliver and you have a good offer that's unique that people haven't heard of. So you're putting a bucket of one-on-one, okay? So have we gone through everything? CTA just did that, right? Boom. There we go. So that is how you do it, right? That is the new method that I'm using in all of my agencies and that so many people are using to book so many appointments and making money while you're still struggling trying to sell a $500 offer to realtors, selling ads while we're out here, being able to charge anywhere from like 1 to 7K plus commissions, right, or revenue share on the back end because we're building infrastructures and selling people things that they haven't heard of before. Very simple. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed and now have an inside look into what I do for the agencies that I scale with proof so you can just see that it works. If you have any questions, you can comment down below, and if you want to chat about potentially working with me, if I still have room by the time you see this video, then you can book a slot in my calendar and we can have a chat. Other than that, have a great day and go help people out and make them more money. And in return, you should make money too.